All right, let's switch it to Utes. This is race 1. It's the final round of the championship. David Cedars has grabbed pole position. He's 3rd in a row, 4th of the season. He's in a brand new car because he junked the last one at the Gold Coast going back some 4 or 5 weeks, and he got done 70 points. So the championship's starting to slip away from him. Ryle Harris is the championship leader coming into the weekend. He's in the number 1 tap out Ford. He's up near the front position, number 6 on the grid. We're down to 29 cars this weekend. A couple were, unfortunately, they've gone to Ute heaven after the Gold Coast because we crunched quite a few of them.
It was certainly crazy up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was wild. So David Cedars on the front race, trying to fight back in the championship. Chris Walton alongside last year's Rookie of the Year leader, Nathan Pretty. He's 2nd in the points. The Milwaukee Commodore starts from 3rd on the grid. Kim Janes alongside. We're underway in race 1 of the weekend for the Auto 1 V8 Ute Series, protected by Armorall. 29 will go to turn 1, and it's Walton who's taken the jump on Cedars. Pretty just has to have a little bit of a lift. Now Kim Jane tries to go the long way around. Do they make it? Yes.
It was quiet. There was no big bang at the end of that.
I was waiting for it. And they all made it through. Now, do they make it through the next bit? Turns 2, 3, 4 at the chicane. But it's Walton, Jane, Cedars, Pretty. This is what it looks like with Reece McNally.
Man.
Ouch, ouch.
Heavy-duty parking.
It's good for bumpers and bonnets.
Well, it's so hard on street circuits. There's not a lot of room to move. You're funneling into a chicane. You know, you're sort of braking and it gets a bit of a concertina effect. And when you're back around 8, 10, further back than that, sure as anything, you're going to end up with a didn't you car. Something a lot like that.
Yeah, I thought so. Stephen White, the Dunlop Super Dealer Commodore, it's cooking. And that's the penalty that you pay for qualifying down the pack. 21st on the grid sheet was Stephen White. And he's been one of the regular front runners in the second half of this year's Ute Championship.
He'd be very disappointed with that.
And they've got to do some repairs. Remember, that car was pretty badly damaged up at Bathurst in October on the Sunday morning. But Walton and Jane, Cedars going with them. Ryle Harris, car number 1. There he is, reigning champ. He's trying to go back-to-back. He's got a healthy, decent margin coming into the weekend. They have points for qualifying, so Pretty is within 37. There's 35 for a race win and 3 races. So although Harris is a race in front, if anything goes wrong, they're ready to pounce.
And it's a really tricky position he's in, because you don't want to put everything on the line, but you don't want to roll out of it too much either, because that's when you get into trouble when you mid-pack. So I think he'd probably be keeping his eye on Nathan, and as long as he can see him and he's somewhere around him, then his championship's still looking pretty good. So it doesn't matter whether he finishes a position or 2 in front of him. As long as he's in touch with him, then he'll be in good shape.
And Pretty and Harris have actually both... Donis in the fence. Since we last saw these guys on the Gold Coast, they both tested V8 supercars because they were the best Ford and Holden finishers in the Ute Series last year. So Ryle Harris drove David Reynolds' Bottle-O car, and Nathan Pretty had a drive of one of the Walkinshaw team cars. That's Peter Burnett coming on in with slight damage. Just bang it down and put some tape on it. Should be all right.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see when they're up like that. Not very aerodynamic either. Nathan Pretty spent a lot of time in V8 supercars in years gone past, and I think he went quite well in the test.
Now, this is Walton. Look at that margin he's building on Kim Jane in the background. That was Elliot Barber trying to move his way through on Craig Donison. Barber's wrapped up Rookie of the Year, the black number 7 Ford, a bit further back into this shot. So he gets a test with the Erebus team in either a V8 supercar or one of their SLS GT3 GT cars. So
I think either would be all right.
I'd be fine with either. Be greedy to be both. But look at Cedars down the inside. This is on.
Well, he was getting a little frustrated. Nice move, and he was stuck behind Kim and executed that really nicely down the inside. Nice clean move, and now he'll start to charge off.
I asked him about that crash on the Gold Coast where he was pinged 35 points. He appealed it. He got pinged another 35. They've taken the engine, the gearbox, a lot of the running gear from that crashed car and put it in a brand new Falcon for this weekend. So they've called this one Phoenix because I guess it rises from the ashes of the previous one. But he's up to P2 at the moment. That's a massive margin. It's 3.5 seconds to Chris Walton, who has got, that is a race-winning sort of margin. He should be able to really sit on that for the rest of this race.
And he's very fast. Of course, when you're not trying to pass someone, it's nice to... line and length is what it's all about, and so you can actually put your head down. That's what Chris Walton's done, and established quite a break over Cedars. But the task now is to keep your eyes forward, try and drive away from Kim Jane, and hope that Chris makes a mistake.
And Walton might be able to right some of the change some of the history here with the Utes, because they've been here 4 times. They've been every year that the V8s have been for the Sydney 500. And the pole man goes on and wins the round every year, so he might be able to change that up this year, because he's managed to find himself with margin out front here. But everyone's settled down now. We've all got a championship on the line. Some of them have got a little less on the line and just want to win a race or get on the podium. Nathan Pretty there in the Milwaukee Tools Commodore. He's been the man who's done all the winning this year, but he lost an appeal too since we last saw it. He appealed against being excluded from qualifying at Bathurst for being 1 kilogram underweight. He lost the appeal, did not get those points back.
So down the escape road.
Oh, just close.
Wow.
That left front will be burning a little.
He'll be chattering his teeth as he goes down the next straight.
Have a look at this margin. Fastest lap of the race for Walton is significantly quicker than the rest. This is with Reece McNally. Wayne Wakefield up in front. Keen to get on it. Reece is a championship contender. That was a bit easy. Looks like he missed a gear or something.
Like, yeah.
Yep. And Jesse Dixon pounces too in the Heyman Reece Commodore to slip on through, but that is the margin that Chris Walton's built. 3.4 seconds. Cedars has just set the fastest lap of the race, so the hunt begins. It's a war between the Fords. Kim Jane's next from Nathan Pretty, the championship leader. There he is, Ryle Harris, sitting pretty, position 5 at the moment. Yes, that was a yellow flag. Yes, it is V8 Utes. They're rumbling around Sydney Olympic Park. We've got Chris Walton still leading the way by 4 seconds over David Cedars, but the battle of the Commodores is for third. This is Kim Jane and Nathan Pretty. Nathan is second in the championship. Ryle Harris, the leader, is right behind him. So that's only worth to Nathan 1 championship point over Ryle. Considering that it's 35 for a race win, 2 more to go after this one, he needs more.
He does need more, but anything can happen, and he's looking for every position he can. He's certainly got a little bit more car speed than Kim, and he's harassing the back of that vehicle. So I think we're going to see him have a bit of a lunge here somewhere. He's not quite close enough now. You see him duck out. He wants to get a bit of air in those brakes. By now, we're fair way into the race. Only got 5 to go, so the brakes will be starting to hurt a little bit. Tyres will be going off a little bit, and he is attacking Kim Jane. For him, he wants to get by Kim, but not push Kim out of the way, so Ryle Harris gets by him as well. So he'll be doing everything he can to try and tickle him up and unsettle him a little bit.
Ooh, and Ryan Hansford got it done.
Nice move.
That was on Andrew Fisher in the Jesus Ford. And got to remember too, Brad, these things are 1,800 kilograms. They're much heavier than a V8 supercar, so they're lucky way more weight around. This is with Craig Donis, Auto 1 replay, down to turn 2. And assisted by Elliot Barber.
Whoa. Under the yellow flag.
Never good. Kim Jane had a little lock-up. He made it through. There's the tap. Managed to keep it off the wall at least. This is with Reece McNally as it all unfolded. Now, yellow flag's out. That's no passing. There's a green flag somewhere behind those Utes. I think he'll be okay with that because it was just after the green flag. Ben Dunn, though, he went for another spot at the next corner. Got it done too. Nice. Having a look here, this is the wake-up Commodore. Normally Warren Millett. This is Jack LeBrock at the helm, last year's Formula 4 champ, who did have a run here in the Utes last year. He's trying to get a move on Gary Baxter, and this is important. This is Gary Baxter's last weekend in V8 Utes. He's been a long-time runner in this category, the South Australian in that blue and yellow number 3 Commodore. There it is. Chucky Baxter, as they call him in the Utes, and I think Jack's done because the radiator, she's popped.
It's a pity, really. He's a great kid, Jack, and he certainly can drive a race car, there's no doubt about that.
Oh, Pretty can drive too. He's driving it up the inside, and that's 3rd spot. 1 more point he gets back on Ryle Harris in the championship chase. But he's got a major margin. Would you believe Cedars is 7 seconds down the road? The leader, Walton, is 14 seconds down the road. He's absolutely belted them.
Yeah, I think it's all over there, but this is certainly starting to heat up, and Ryle Harris is having to be a little more cautious in this mix-up than he would normally be, I think, because he doesn't want to damage the car. He wants to get the points, but he also doesn't want to see Nathan skip too far away, and so that's 2 cars now they got between them, which isn't a lot of points. It's only 2, but as I say in this business, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and every point counts.
We've lost a couple of cars from this one. Dennis Cribben, Stephen White, Peter Burnett, Gary McDonald's in the lane, as is Michael Armand, who's taken over the car that we've seen Tony Longhurst race this year.
How good is this camera?
How good were we convincing a cameraman to sit under there? That's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
That yellow flag's still out down at turn 2 because Stephen White's car, there it is, has been there since the first lap with a smashed bonnet and bumper section. So that's taken away that one from being a passing opportunity. So even if you do get a good run off turn 1, you can't do anything with it.
It's amazing how much that differential bounces around in the back of that car.
Like that.
Like that.
Oh, that's what curbs do. Look at Jane, he's trying to cover Ryan Hansford. Pretty's been able to just skip away. I had to just dig through the record book there to see what's the biggest ever Ute race winning margin. At the moment, it's 9.9 seconds from Walton to Cedars. It's got a bit of work to do. The record's 16.1. James Brock over Jack Ellsgood at the Gold Coast back in 2002. But at this rate, 3 laps to go, anything's possible. And Harris is in that position where he's got guys in front, guys behind. But he's racing with the regular guys that he races with. It's not like he's in the middle of the pack where the drama generally unfolds. He's with guys that he's familiar with. That's important.
And they're keeping a pretty good head of steam up.
Jack LeBrock parked down there.
Yeah, well, looks like a Formula Ford.
A Formula Ford from a previous race is also down there. So that car is parked. The Wake Up Commodore is spewing radiator coolant from out the front of it. This is Nathan Pretty third. Jane Hansford, Ryle Harris, Andrew Fisher, Gary Baxter next, then Reece McNally and Craig Donis. That is the top 10 as they sit. This will be the final lap, so a time certain finish being counted here. There's Craig Donis, got going again. Wayne Wakefield there, Bacardi Commodore. Jesse Dixon with the bumper hanging off the back of that car, but Chris Walton must be wondering, where is everyone?
It just goes to show you when you get the car right, you've got your eye in, he's just hitting all these marks.
Looks like Ben Dunn's going to try to get to Craig Donis before this one is over. This is
a bit of pressure in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, this is for the final spot in the top 10. You can see those tyre marks out there. I think Wayne Wakefield's going to have a lunge at Ben Dunn there. No, he couldn't quite get it done. And now he's doing the big block on Jesse Dixon, who's going to stick with it here because Wakefield thought he was veering back to the outside to cover him. And Jared McLeod's lined up in the McMahon Mining Commodore also to have a crack at them. But Chris Walton, I'll tell you what, it's been a little while since we've seen Chris Walton win a race. We haven't seen him win one this year. I think you've got to go back to Barbagallo last year between race wins for Chris Walton, so that's quite some time. That's a drought breaker, and that is an absolute bashing. He has really fixed them up in this first race. David Cedars, the pole man, will come home in that brand new Ford in position number 2, and it's daylight back to the Commodore boys. Pretty's home in third. He'll get some points on Harris, who lost a spot to Hansford late in the piece. Just quickly, Bradley, a couple of BJR cars in the shootout. How are you looking? Very quickly.
Yeah, great. I can't wait for the race to start. Twilight should be really interesting. Hopefully we can win one.
Jason Bright and Fabian Coulthard will be in the shootout. That's coming up very soon, but the Utes are done. Chris Walton, the winner from David Cedars and Nathan Pretty. Craig Donis rounded out the 10. They're back tomorrow to decide the championship, but stay with us. The top 10 shootout.